Hello and welcome to this POCACITO webinar of our Post-Carbon Cities of Tomorrow program. My name is Max Grunig from the Ecologic, and we will talk today here with Maxime Quemin. He's a former lab technician in plant virology. He's also a scientist, and he has a degree in environmental mediation. And he started Les Champignons de Marseille in 2017, and they're a nonprofit organization growing champignons or mushrooms on coffee grounds. And we will hear much more about this from him in person now. Maxime, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's a little bit of a first for us in terms of how we do this, since we want to move away a little bit from the very traditional front teaching webinar style and more to a conversation. But you have your screen open, so if you want to show some photos of the subject matter of the champignon, the mushrooms, that's great. But we won't have this classic slideshow with PowerPoint. Instead, we will have a conversation, hopefully also with you. So that's now the second level to that. Of course, I have many questions to Maxime, and but if you have questions, you can ask these too. I think we will have many ways of doing this. I will try to keep an eye on this. So, but don't think I didn't want to let you talk if you don't get an opportunity. So you have a way to raise your hand. You can send a question in the question pane function, and you can also chat with us. And I will try to track this so that Maxime can focus on answering questions, and we can unmute you. So if you are in a setting where it's not extremely loud, so not in a public space maybe, we can unmute you and let you talk, and you can ask your questions directly. If you're in a place where it's very loud, then I can read out the question to Maxime for you, and then hopefully we'll still get an appropriate answer. So that's just for technicalities. I don't want to take up too much time with this. Maxime, you already opened a picture of the mushrooms, and that looks very lovely. Maybe you can tell us a little bit right away, what kind of mushroom is this?
So it's oyster mushroom. Mushrooms that are supposed to grow on tree trunk, especially dead tree trunk, and we use them because they are really efficient to digest coffee grounds.
Excellent. So is this photo taken in your
yeah, in the new farm? Actually, it was taken like 1 week ago or something. I have several more pictures if you want. I can show you that later.
Yeah, excellent. So let's go all the way back. I mean, you said you have different career steps. You did you were this plant virology technician. I don't even fully know what this is as a job, but it sounds very exciting.
Okay, I can explain to you the point of this. Because I was 20 years old at this moment of my life, and I used to work in New Zealand, and I was studying viruses in citrus trees. So I was sort of screening a massive farm of citrus and trying to find some virus and to make a sort of a disease note, to inform the farmer that the trees was contaminated, and the point was to sell the product with a good hygiene certification, if you understand what I mean. So that was pretty much that. And for the rest, I used to work also in France, and I was working with human virus to study how they behave in the human body. But I was just a lab technician. I was following orders from other scientists, better experience than me, or something like that.
Okay. So at some point you thought, okay, that's not all I want to do, and you decided you want to work on other fields. And then how
Exactly.
did you get to this idea to grow mushrooms? Is what inspired this?
Okay, so after these years of working in lab, I was growing a sense of ecological stress, if you can call that. I was really worried about how we destroy slowly our environment. So I decided to quit my job and to study more. And I realized that I was too small to save the earth. So I decided to choose a path, and I was really into recycling stuff. I thought it was funny, and I like to use my hands. So I began to work in a non-profit organization in Marseille called the Recyclodrome, which was a sort of workshop where we collect old furniture that we uh, repair, we build, and and I worked for 2 years in this place, and I decided that I want to start my own stuff around recycling, and I heard about these guys in Paris who were that were growing mushrooms on coffee grounds, and I I thought it was amazing, a great idea, and in Marseille we don't have this kind of company or sort of experience, and that was it for me. I was hooked, and I read everything I can about how to grow mushrooms. I went to Paris to meet this company, and I met a guy in Marseille, which it's my colleague now. His name is Nicolas, and we decided to 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 start a small lab where we did some experiments about how to grow mushrooms on urban waste, and that was in 2016, in December 2016, and 4 months later we start this non-profit organization called Les Champignons de Marseille, and since then we are working full time on this project to try to make it work and to produce as much mushrooms as we can on bio waste that we collect in Marseille. But the, the idea was not from me. I didn't create anything except that I create this experience in Marseille, which is a sort of a challenge because we are a strange city in France. We are always behind the other cities in terms of ecological involvement. We have 10 years of how do you say that in English? We are late. We are
Yeah.
10 years late. Everything has to be done in this city. So it's a bit tricky to make a living with this kind of project, but we are slowly managing to do so. We are happy to do it. So it's good. We have a good life now.
Great. So you say bio waste, but
Yeah.
in the end, do you do everything on coffee grounds, or do you use also other products?
We mixed. So what we do is we mixed coffee grounds with wood chip and also some straw. And sometimes when we find good quality cardboard, we use them also. We use it also. So the mixed is around half coffee grounds and half lignocellulosic waste. So as carbon and wood chip, cardboard and wood chip. Sorry. So 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 that's it. We use half of. We only use 50% of coffee grounds in our recipe, which is already quite good because it's tricky to grow mushrooms on coffee grounds. It takes time, and you have to find a really good quality of coffee grounds. So, for example, if a restaurant can keep the coffee in a cold room, it's perfect for us because the coffee stay fresh and doesn't rot. And when it's rotten, it's really hard to make our mushrooms grow in this environment. You know, there is too much competition, so we have to be careful.
So coffee works, but it's not ideal. I
No,
mean, it's not easy.
no. If it was easy, it will be already some big company will already do that for years now. But the point is to be to how can I say that, to be really focus on hygiene on, you have to be clean. You have to work in a clean environment. You have to take a lot of precaution. It's why I'm good at this job because I used to be a lab technician, so I know exactly how to behave in a controlled environment. And so it's tricky, and I'm not surprised that if, that there is no, how do you say that, when for example you use I don't know, aluminium or stuff like this, there is already a big business around aluminium or
Yeah.
also other waste. But with coffee, it's basically it's better to compost it than to grow mushrooms on it. But we think that it's a good strategy to touch the people, to make them realize that their waste is supposed to do some. We are supposed to do something with them. It's just not to, you discard them and you close your eyes and you forget about it. So it's a good entry to touch their mind, if I can say that
Great.
in English.
And you already said there is a lot that can go wrong.
Yes.
Now, do you want to say what are the what would be like a very bad outcome? What could really go wrong if I would now take I have coffee here, so if I take the coffee grounds and maybe some fungus spores and go into the basement and just think, okay, I can do this. What would be the worst outcome, or what can go wrong? What are your challenges?
Uh, Honestly, at the beginning when you start the process, it's really easy, and it's quite likely that you will succeed. Because it's always it's we call that the beginner luck, because your coffee will be clean. You will do it with a lot of love and in a small quantity, so it's almost I can almost guarantee you that you will produce some oyster mushroom, but the quantity will be low and the quality will be also quite low. And to make a business out of it, you have to think big. You have to process everything. You have to to be really careful in what you do, and you have to use a lot of coffee grounds to produce a lot of mushrooms to make some money. So me, when I start this in my basement with my friend Nicola, we were really amazed by the quantity and the beauty of our mushrooms. And then 6 months later, when we met some professional in the business, we realized that our mushrooms were disgusting and just too white, too big, not enough light, not enough humidity, etc., etc. So you have to. Yeah, it's always easy to play in your basement, but when you want to be a professional, it takes a lot of experience, and it takes also some money, to have the good tools. So do it. It's easy. I learned it on internet for like 1 month, and then I went to Brussels for to how do you say that, to meet some teachers. So it was an internship. I did an internship for 3 days in a mushrooms farm in Belgium, and they teach me everything I know now to how to build a mushroom farm. So it took me only 3 days and a lot of reading to understand what's going on with this kind of projects. And now I guess I need 3 more years, you know, to give you a proper advice for how to, you know, to start a company with this, because it's you know, you have, like I said, you have, it's easy to do it on your basement, and it's another thing to create a company out of it.
So one question, since you said the quality and the flavor, does the coffee flavor get into the mushroom at all, or is there any way to get flavor into the mushroom from the substrate?
Uh, we are, unfortunately, there is no coffee flavor in our mushrooms, and it's because the oyster mushrooms are really efficient to digest everything, so the the smell of the coffee never, you know, uh, never, how do you say that, go to the flesh of the mushrooms.
Yeah.
But what we realize is that our mushrooms are way better than traditional oyster mushrooms that usually are grown on straw substrates. You know, so they don't use any bio waste in the normal business. They just use uh, sterilized straw, and they mix it with some, for example, some chicken chicken waste, you know, chicken shit, if you can say that, and they pasteurize everything. They inoculate the mushroom spores, and then you have some good quality oyster mushrooms. But our mushrooms are, how can I say that, they, they taste better, and they don't the water concentration in the mushrooms are very low. So when you cook them, you know, you don't have any water in your pan, and the chief love that, because when you buy our mushrooms, you don't buy water. You know, it's why I call this webinar the low cost product vs local product, because when when you buy my mushrooms, you pay them like 3 times the price of the market, but you buy twice the quantity of the usual mushrooms. You know, you don't buy water; you buy flesh, mushroom flesh. You know, so it is why they are, and we think that it's because of the coffee, because we don't produce as we don't produce a lot of mushrooms. You know, the I don't know the word in English. We say in French we say rendement. It's
Oh, yeah, the yield.
the
The
yield, exactly, the yield. Thank you. So the yield is low than usual product, but the quality is way better, and we think it's because oyster mushrooms have a hard time to digest this coffee, so they produce less, but they produce better, and it's what I sell to my customers, you know, and they buy it because when they taste it, it's totally different from a normal mushroom. And I don't say that because it's my product, you know. It's really, you cannot you can do a blind test and you will always find my mushroom. I will switch on the light because
Yeah,
there is
yeah,
no light anymore.
great, great. So you heard it's a better mushroom, but it costs 3 times as much as the regular mushroom if you buy it in the supermarket.
Yeah, for example, I can give you the price. For example,
Yeah.
when it's always a bit it's quite random. But for example, if you go to a good grocery store in Marseille with fine quality articles, you know, a lot of organic stuff, and you can find oyster mushroom from Italy or from Spain that cost around €8 per kilograms, and me, I sell my product around €15.
Okay.
So it's big difference, but this so-called good quality mushroom from my how do you say that, my concurrents, my
Yeah,
opponents,
competitors.
my
Yeah.
competitors. Thank you. Travel for 3 days, maybe 4 days before they arrive in the supermarket, and the you know the visual aspects of the mushrooms are really bad, and they are full of water because during the voyage they use cold rooms. They store it in cold room, and there is a lot of humidity in them. So honestly, the quality is really bad, and customers don't realize it because they are used to buy always this
Right.
sort of mushrooms. But when they saw mine, they are quite ready to pay the price because it's really fresh. You can keep them for 15 days in your fridge. You can cook them with a lot of different recipes, and they always react perfectly. So it's quite impressive to grow this kind of stuff.
So would it be possible for you to sell, I mean, if you grow or whatever, if you have more production to beat this price, or would you say that basically the price is not really, because you said, I mean, it's not the same product, it's not the same quality. Is it just something for that quality, that's the price,
I
and you can't get there?
I can. What you mean is, can I lower my price?
Hmm.
Okay. I
Yeah,
can.
like if I am a poor person who
Yeah.
has a very low income, and
Of course.
I will have to make a choice, and I will probably go for the cheap mushroom, even if
Of
I
course.
know it's not as good. So what can we do?
What can I do? Honestly, at the beginning of my of this adventure, I was not able to buy my own mushrooms because I didn't pay. I didn't have any salary, so I totally understand what you mean by that. We can lower the price a little bit if we invest some money to produce more mushrooms. So it will even because if we produce more, we can lower a bit the price. For example, maybe around 11 to 13 euros. But we will never go as our competitors because what they do is they produce a lot of quantity. They put a lot of water in their mushrooms to sell, a lot of quantity but less quality. And also they don't pay well their employees. So it's always like this. You can you can you have to live. You have to sell the product at the good price. If I lower too much my price, there is no point to do this. We will die in 6 months. So 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 I'm a bit stuck with this. But
Yeah,
it's the same question with everything in this planet.
yeah.
Maybe
What, what
when
would
you
you
are
say?
poor.
Sorry.
Go for it. Go for it.
Would you say that our food is basically underpriced, that we spend too little on food to get
Yeah,
actually quality?
yeah, definitely. Now we spend a lot of money on, on on non-essential stuff, and we pay and we don't put a lot of money on our on the quality of the food, certainly. But it's a question of education and also of money because you cannot ask for to someone. If you are really poor, and I will never incriminate you that for not buying good stuff. You do what you can. If you have kids and if you have a shitty job, and if you have to drive for 2 hours every day to go there, you have to put the money on the gas and not on oyster mushroom grow by Maxime and Nicolas, you know, uh, in a small basement in Marseille. But it's so I cannot answer that alone. Yeah, we have
Yeah,
to find
yeah.
solution, like it's political. It's not on the it's not only a business.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Um, and we'll come back to that, to the business side in a moment, but we do have meanwhile a question from the audience,
Yes.
and I hope I say the name right. I hope it's Kate. Um, I will unmute you, and if your microphone works, I hear something already. I hope that's you. You can ask your question now directly.
Yeah, I'm in a public space. If it gets too loud, just let me know.
That's fine.
Sounds
Um, so I'm growing lion's mane mushrooms, which is a kind of similar mushroom And what I'm looking at is taking the normal substrate that would normally be used and adding coffee grounds as a way to kind of supplement that. And I was going to do it from 0 to 30%. And so
Okay.
my question was, how do you store the coffee grounds before use? And what are your thoughts on how it will impact growth?
Okay, so for the first question, how I store it, what we do is we collect the coffee in companies that pay the pay the service for being for the coffee to be collected. So when the coffee arrives at the farm, is already 15 years, 15 days old. So what we do is we pick the best quality coffee grounds that we have. We smell it, we touch it, we look at it. You know, we always take the good stuff. When it's too green, when it's too yellow or too smelly, we all directly compost it. We don't use it for the mushrooms. And then what we do is we pasteurize it. You know, we don't use it directly. We have to cook it a little bit. Otherwise, if you do a big production, you know, it will always become really bad in 6 months. All your substrate will be contaminated by some other mushrooms that we call trichoderma. I don't know the word in English if you use it, but it's a green stuff. It's a green shitty mushrooms, and it's really annoying. It's always everywhere, and it's really difficult to get rid of it. So you have to be really careful. So if you can store your coffee grounds in a cold room or in a fridge, it's perfect. You know. But if you need a lot of mushrooms, if you need to produce a lot of mushrooms, it will not work for a long time because you cannot store like I don't know 1,000 kilograms of coffee grounds in a cold room every day. You know, it's almost impossible. And the other question was, sorry, I don't remember now.
Just how do you think varying amounts, like going from smaller to larger, do you think you're going to see an increase or a decrease in the yield?
Okay. So you cannot grow mushrooms on 100% coffee grounds. I tried all the recipe. Honestly, I can tell you that if you go up to 60%, you will lower the yield. You know, the best for me, the best is around 50%. If you put more, you will be in trouble. If you put less, the quality will be a bit lower, but the quantity will be the same.
So 50, yeah, half of it.
Half of it, yeah, pretty much the basic, yeah. All the mushroom farm that I visit are doing the same thing. When they use coffee ground, they generally use 50-50. You know, 50 cardboard and straw and other stuff, and 50 coffee grounds.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for asking your question. And if others have questions, I mean, this is, of course, really an expert question, but don't be shy, don't be intimidated. If you're not a master mushroom grower, you can still ask questions. We will take them. And again, you can ask the questions in the question pane. You can do this via the chat function or raise your hand. I'll try to have an eye on that. Maxime, coming back, you talked about your company as a non-profit, but it's a business. In a way, first, how did you decide to do this, to set it up as a non-profit and not as a small company?
Okay, so we didn't know how the city will react with this kind of project, and when I met Nicolas, we also didn't know each other well, so it was a bit difficult for us to just in 10 days decide to create a company out of it. So we choose the path of the non-profit organization because we could see that it could work for at least 1 or 2 years with this kind of we say statute in France. No, it's the,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how you say that in English, but
Legal form.
yeah, the
Yeah.
legal form. Yeah, sorry. So and also we both worked in non-profit organization before, so we knew how it works and how to handle it. So we went that way. What I can tell you now, 2 years later, is that probably should have been better to start a company and wait a little bit to start the business. But if you go back to the past all the time, it doesn't do good. So now we are in this path, and we will stay on it because it opens some windows. For example, you can see my screen now. You can see that I'm in a basement with some beautiful walls full of stones, and this place was given to us because we were a non-profit organization. We don't pay rent, we don't pay water, we don't pay electricity. We just are there. They give us the place for 2 to 3 years to start the production in a professional way. And if we were a company, it will never had happened. And we are quite happy to be in these circumstances now, because otherwise we would have to, I would have to put a suit and meet some rich people and ask them to give me money to grow the business and stuff like this. And I'm not sure that I want to do that. I don't want to go too much to the bank. I don't want to contract a loan. Is it a loan? When you
Yeah.
borrow money? Yeah,
Yeah.
credit. Sorry, credit. So the non-profit status help us to to stay far away as possible of this capitalistic point of doing the business.
Yeah.
And it was not. It's not. When I explain it, it looks like a choice because we are. Because we think that it's not a good idea, but we didn't choose anything. We just went on it and tried to do something. Now, maybe we would have. Sorry, we could have done maybe bigger
Mhm.
and faster with capitals and money from the bank, but we are not unhappy of what we are experiencing, what we are doing now. And
Right.
what I can tell you is that there is only one person who make a living out of the mushroom farm. So this is Nicola. He is hired by the association to be the mushroom farmer. And me, I work on the side now with a company that is called Upcycle. And Upcycle is a real company and not a non-profit organization. And they are also growing mushrooms in Paris. And it was the company that inspired us 2 years ago. And now they hired me because they want to duplicate their their mushroom farm. They want to prove that they can make it happen in other cities in France. So the deal was, you give me a salary and I will make it happen in Marseille. So I'm a sort of a business developer now for them. So so for Nicola and Maxime, the the experiment went well because now we both have a salary and we can make a living out of the mushrooms, and I can still work 100% of my time on the project. So we are lucky. We sort of lucky. I don't think that a lot of people in France manage to do this with the mushroom activity and the coffee ground activity, because it's really tricky to make a living out of it without special luck, if you can
Yeah.
call that. Yeah.
So with these two companies you're working for, basically, is there is there any risk that these conflict with each other? Like if upcycle, yeah,
Yeah, there is some. I cannot. It's not maybe conflict, but my position is a bit tricky now because I'm also, I'm at the board of Champignons de Marseille. So I'm sort of one of the. There is around 10 people that uh, you know that are part of the administration council. If you
Yeah.
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 So I'm part of this council. I'm the finance guy. I took care of the money in the association. And now we have a client. It's Upcycle, and me. I'm also an employee of this company. So we have some. I have to step down sometimes, and I cannot vote for some decisions. So it's always a question of human connection. So
Yeah.
it's a bit tricky, but it's for the moment it goes well. But I cannot tell you that 1 year or 2 years we will be still here. If I don't know, anything can happen. We are not out of the water. We still lose some money.
Yeah.
We still have some technical issues, and we still have to grow to find new tools to be efficient. Every day is a challenge. Honestly, it's not easy, but we are doing it with a lot of smile.
Yeah.
We are quite happy.
So do you have volunteers as well, or is Nicolas doing?
It depends.
And
The mushroom farm is established in a college,
yeah.
in a school. So we don't have volunteers, but we invite students of the school to work with us. So every week we have like around 5 to 10 teenagers around 14 to 15 years old that come to help to clean, to learn how we do that, to see how we, we recycle the coffee grounds and stuff like this. So it doesn't make us win some time, but it was in the contract. We are really happy to meet these kids and to talk about our way of seeing the world and how we want to recycle stuff. So yeah, it doesn't help the business, but it doesn't. It make us. The week is better with them than without teenagers.
Is it a special school? Are they very eco-minded or very progressive, or is it a normal school?
Oh, it's a normal school, but it's an agricultural school. It's a
Yeah. Like,
yeah. Sorry, my accent is bad when I said it's an agricultural school. So the kids are supposed to learn how to grow stuff and how to take care of the landscape. So maybe it's a bit better. It's a bit easier to teach them how to take care of mushrooms, maybe. But they are not. They compost the food waste of the school restaurants. That's all.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not. They are normal. Yeah, you can say that. I try to find something else, but yes, they only it's the only school that I know in Marseille that composts their food. So in this way, they are advanced. But for the rest, they do normal stuff.
Great, great. And is the school also getting some of the mushrooms for the school food, or is it?
Yes, sometimes when they ask us some mushrooms, we always try to give them some. But it's basically it's for Christmas, for Easter, when they
Yeah.
do something special for the kids, because it's kids. They want to eat chicken and potatoes and stuff like this. So when they put the mushrooms on the menu, they don't always pick it up. If they have the choice, they will always go for something else. But the teacher really love to eat our mushrooms because they
Yeah.
know that is good. But
I
it's
can
always
I can see that, but it's amazing because you give them the opportunity to see really where the mushroom comes from and how this is growing, but and
yeah.
they can see that it's really good product, but they still are hesitant, but
Yeah,
at
it
least
depends.
they
I
get it.
guess when because we have 250 students, so not all of them have been to the mushroom farm. So
Yeah.
I guess some of the kids that went with us for a week will choose the mushrooms next time, just to see
Yeah.
how it tastes. Because when they come with us, we make them taste it fresh, not cooked. And the taste is good, but it's a bit strange, They are not used to eat fresh mushrooms like that. So I will ask them if they choose the mushrooms next time. We will have some in the restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. So one thing is the school is a major expansion in size and production volume for you, and that happened like last fall, right? So when you
Yeah,
started it.
yeah. We start in September.
Yeah.
So the contract with the school was signed in September, and it took us 3 months to make it happen. We did a lot of digging, we did a lot of cleaning. We if I show you these pictures, the one you
So
know, as you can see, we are working on art ground. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and this was not here when we arrived. So I took my luck and my smile, and I've been to all the company that sell concrete, and I asked them to give us for free 22 cubic meter of concrete, of
Wow.
liquid concrete, and I managed to find some. And suddenly in November, two big trucks full of concrete arrive, and we say, I don't know how to say that in English, but we,
Yeah,
we
you
say,
pour it.
oh, sorry.
You pour the concrete.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
poured the concrete on the ground, and suddenly it was hard, and suddenly it was water resistant, and 15
Yeah.
days later, mushroom could start to grow in the basement. So it was great. But
That
uh,
looks really perfect, like a new
yeah,
construction. Yeah,
yeah,
very nice.
we did a lot of good work, and the place was nice, but there were no electricity, no water, no concrete soil, so we have to do everything. So we spent around 15,000 euros on the project,
But
and
it's good. I mean, it's,
it was all the money that we have. We put it in this place, and then we raise another 15,000 euros with a Kiss Bank Bank, crowdfunding.
crowdfunding. Yeah.
Yeah, the crowdfunding helped us to start to pay the salary of Nicola, and then we start to grow a lot of mushrooms, and then the business began, and it's still going up and up. Now, for example, we are producing around 40 kilos of mushrooms every week now,
Good.
which is good because 2 years ago it was like a year, a month production, and
Wow.
now
Yeah.
it's every week. So
Yeah.
it's going serious. We are experiencing. We expect to have some new challenge to to face with
Yeah.
this because
Yeah.
the
So
more you are,
where do you want to go? Like, how much do you want to grow? Where do you see the
um,
mass
the, the
champignon?
the place that we have can uh, produce around 500 kilograms per month.
Wow.
If we do 400 kilograms next January, it will be amazing. Honestly, if we manage to sell that much oyster mushroom in 2020, it will be a success because
So
it's
so
really
where's the most constraints? Is it like the demand for mushrooms, or is it the coffee ground availability, or the space in the basement? What's your
uh,
major?
the free. So, for example, the coffee grounds. It's really easy to find it. It's really hard to find it with and to be paid to collect it. Because
Yeah,
everybody wants to give us the waste for free, but nobody
right.
wants to pay for it. And we are teaching our customers that they have to pay. They pay the government to collect the waste, if they want to have good mushrooms on the restaurants, they have to pay the service. We cannot collect it for free. We have to use a car. We have to use time, and time is money. So we have to make them pay. So that's tricky, but we are getting there because luckily for us, some legislation in Europe are forcing all the bio-waste producer to do something to recycle this kind of bio-waste. So at the end it costs money. So when it costs money, and it opens opportunities for us to contract with some big companies. For example, I'm trying to develop a partnership with Airbus, which is a big company that produces planes in Marseille. They have 9,000 employees, and they produce a lot of coffee grounds, like around 10 tons per year. And they have a lot of money, and they could be ready to pay us to collect all this coffee. And with 10 tons of coffee, it will be a big challenge for us to recycle everything. So that's the first. How do you say that? We say a break, a frein.
Like a bottleneck.
Yeah. So that's tricky. Then you have to, we are the only mushroom producer in the south of France now. We don't have any competitors except from Europe, for example, Italy, Spain, Holland, and stuff like, and Germany. But nobody. The oyster mushrooms. If I to explain to you, in France we eat a lot of Champignons de Paris.
Yeah.
And we don't eat a lot of oyster mushrooms. So I have to create the market. I have to make them want my product. So it takes time. That's another problem. And and the place. The place is another question. Maybe we will have to find another place, a bigger place, to grow more mushrooms. But to do that, we have to find money. And as you know, we are a non-profit organization, so there is selling. We can.
Yeah.
I think we are in the actual configuration. We are in the good place at the good moment, and I don't want. I want to make it work here for the moment. I don't want to go too fast. The point is not to start a big company and to have like 10 employees in 2 years. We don't have this kind of thinking. We are thinking going slow and efficient, and always do some good quality product. Always sell some really good stuff to our customers to make them happy and to make them faithful. And that's already a lot of work.
So you say you sell most or all your mushrooms directly to restaurants?
Yeah.
How did you get in touch with the restaurants? How did you find them?
At the beginning, like 1 year ago, I was going directly to them with samples, make them try our product, and if they were happy with it, they call us back, and then we start a relationship. And now what I do is I sell all my product to a lady that has a company. We specialize in distribution. So our work is to pick up the product and sell it directly to all the customers that we have. So we don't have to call every morning at 7 a.m. every chief in Marseille to ask them if they want mushrooms this week. It's our problem now.
Yeah.
So we'll lose some money, but we win some time to focus on the products, and it's really, really good. Personally, I love it because now I can rest during the weekends. Before that, I could not do that. So it's really good.
Yeah. So is she selling only to restaurants, or are you also opening like?
Yeah, we send to everybody. You know, she can.
Yeah.
The point is to she's a delivery system. You know, so she picked the product, and if a supermarket wants some mushrooms, we will deliver to the supermarket. We don't have we we don't have any preference except for the guys for the restaurant that put us in the menu. You know.
Oh,
So if our mushrooms are à la carte, they have to stay à la carte for 2 to 6 months, for example. So every week they order the same amount of mushrooms. So we have to be careful, because if we sell too much mushrooms, we cannot deliver them, and it's not good for the reputation of the association.
yeah, of course, of course. So now, I mean, you're still a very young company or association.
Yeah,
It's still basically 2 years or something
yeah.
that
Almost.
you're.
In March it will be. We will. Yeah, we will. I don't know. I don't remember. So, but it's our 2 years anniversary in March.
So then we need to celebrate then in March.
We have to open a champagne bottle or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe eat a mushroom. One question you wrote in your self description, you're a positive pessimist.
Yeah, it was funny to write that down. Yeah, because honestly, I don't believe in. I don't. I'm really not happy about how the world is. What the direction of the humanity right now. You know, I think we are really stupid monkeys on a small piece of rock in the universe, and we are doing some really selfish stuff. So to forget that, I focus on this kind of project, and it's why I said that I'm positive, because I don't dig a hole and stay and forgot everything. I'm still engaging with my fellow citizen, and I still find some happiness in doing so. But for example, I don't have any kids, and I don't think of I don't want to have kids, because I hate the way that we are killing each other and killing the other beings in our planet. So I'm really sad about it, and I don't know what I don't see a solution. You know, I only see capitalism and growth and growth and growth and consumption, and I don't honestly, guys, I don't know how we will survive with this kind of behavior.
But with your mushrooms, you're taking a step. You're offering a product that's local, that's reusing what was waste before, and now it's the substrate or part of the substrate, the coffee grounds, and it's also healthy.
Yeah,
And it's
but it's for like a really really small percentage of people in Marseille, and there is billions of humans that will never eat local mushrooms, and will only drink Coca-Cola and shitty stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if we can win with all these small projects, or if it's only some left citizen left. How do you say that? When you don't work when you don't vote for Trump. What? Oh, you're a Democrat or something like this. I
yeah,
don't know how to say that in English, but
that would
anyway.
be mostly Democrat. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not even a Democrat. I just vote for the program that is the most advanced in ecological
yeah.
activity, because I don't believe anything else. We have to change our way to produce, and we have to change everything if we want to have a good future. And I'm
Right.
not afraid about the planet. The planet will be fine without us. But as a species, I want a future, for the next generation, and I'm really ashamed of what we are doing. It's strange, and the mushrooms will not repair them, but it's a beginning. It's a beginning, but there is a lot of there's a long road, a really really long road.
Okay, good, good. No, and
Sorry
I
for the
do.
sad touch at the end.
Yeah.
But we have to be realistic. If we if you listen to the scientists, and I believe in science, and I'm a scientist too, and honestly, it's not good, not good at all.
Yeah.
It's warming,
Well,
guys.
yeah,
It's
but
already summer in Marseille. It's funny.
yeah, it's probably strange, and I know it's not really the scale to feed billions yet, but
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have
of
to
course.
start somewhere, and you're doing this. You're having a great project there. We have a closing question, and I'll
Yeah,
open the microphone for Catherine.
right.
If you can ask your question directly, otherwise, Catherine, I can read it out.
No, hello. I was
Hello.
not able to get on the call earlier, but I would be very much interested in visiting at some point your facility, not only to gain more knowledge from you, but to also just celebrate what you're doing.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, and so just wondering if it's possible to come and
Yeah, if you can travel
learn.
to Marseille, of course it's possible.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, okay. And you are coming. When do you come to Europe? You come every day.
No, but possibly later this summer. I'm actually interested in doing a course in Marseille. I'm anyway. I could contact you later with more
Yeah,
specifics. But
Yeah.
you write some email to us and you say hello. I want to visit, and I will remember that you come
great,
from far away. It's easy to visit the place.
perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.
And also, you can maybe find some good stuff in your own country because we are not the only one on earth that are doing that. And I guess that in some cities in the US, you will find Les Champignons de Marseille somewhere. You know, maybe with another point of view, but they will still recycle some coffee grounds somehow. I don't know how, but there is a lot of project like us in the world.
Yeah, great. And I think Kate earlier was maybe one
Yeah,
of the
one of them.
potential followers or
For example,
partners. Yeah.
just for example, I have a call every week. There is someone who is calling me to learn how to grow mushrooms and how to start a company with it. So I'm always really
That's great.
careful. Yeah, but I'm always really careful with them when I explain how it works because you have to find the good ecosystem. To in your city, you have to be smart. You have to meet a lot of people. You have to be really efficient in communication. Also, it's why we are still alive 2 years later. It's because we have some good pictures. We have a good website. We have I like 30% of my work is going out and meet some people in some events around ecological stuff in Marseille. I'm a public person, almost a public person in Marseille, around in this community of people who are doing some circular economical stuff. So
Excellent.
yeah, you have to build it on your own self. I lose my phone number, for example. Now my phone number is the Champignon Marseille phone number. So you have to be careful. It takes your life.
Yeah, that's true. Especially in the nonprofit world, that can happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Maxime, I think it's so great what you're doing.
Thank you.
I think it's a prime example of circular economy in every regard, both in material, but also being so local. So you talked about the ecosystem, the local ecosystem, and I think it's a very exciting example to really try to change the world a little bit where
Yeah,
we are. I hope you inspired some of our listeners. I hope
yeah.
that if you have follow-up questions, you can contact Maxime in Marseille, maybe visit since it's a beautiful city.
Apparently, yeah, there is some people who are keen to visit us. So yeah, come, come.
Yeah,
It's funny.
great. Well, we have reached the end of our hour.
Cool.
I want to thank you so much for taking time to talk to us this for you, it's the evening already. I
Yeah.
hope you have dinner, mushrooms maybe.
No, not mushrooms tonight, but I also hope that my accent was okay because I
No,
know it takes time for me. I'm rusty, you know. I don't speak English a lot, so it's good
no,
for me to.
it was perfect. It was perfect. It was excellent. So thank you so much, and I hope we can stay in touch and see each other
Yeah,
soon.
yeah, right. Also, yeah, don't hesitate to contact me if you want to show up someday. You will be welcome.
Excellent. Take care. Thank you, Maxime, and we'll see each other at the next webinar. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao.